Boom. What's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to Waves Capital. Well, team, we just called this one pretty well. Palantir is currently down a total of 12% in the matter of 2 sessions, and in my opinion, the downside isn't over just yet. Our put options over Waves Capital are absolutely crushing it, but if I'm being completely honest, what I'm more excited about than the profits from these puts is redeploying these put profits back into some Palantir call options and maybe even some more common shares. Okay, so in this video, we are, of course, going to be taking a look at the charts. I want to let you know how much further I think Palantir can pull back in the short term, where I'm personally looking to reestablish a new call options position and potentially take some, well, I've already took a bunch of put profits off the table, to be honest, but where I plan to skim more profits from my put position, where I plan to reestablish a call position. And at the very end of the video, I actually want to take a little bonus look at the Nasdaq 100 or the triple Qs, give you guys my pullback target for the QQQ, just in case you guys are holding any put options on pretty much anything in the market. I feel like that will be a good macro indicator, technically speaking, as to when you should definitely lock in a significant sum of profits from any put options, once again, that you may have on the table. Okay, at least that's how I'm thinking about it. Before we get into that, I do want to read over this article or this analyst, kind of this Morgan Stanley analyst take that really was the catalyst for Palantir's the first major wave down for Palantir. Today, the entire market is pretty much in shambles. The streets are real bloody today, as you can just see on the watch list here. I mean, it's tough to find a green name on there, so thank God we were loaded up with put options today. But Palantir, struggling, especially the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Again, like Palantir, I said that, I made this very clear in this video if you guys caught it, but I'm very bullish on Palantir. You got like most of the videos on Palantir on this channel that I've made in the past are bullish on Palantir. I love this company. I think it has a really bright future, but when something goes as ballistic and as parabolic for as long as Palantir did, up into the new year pretty much, it just isn't sustainable. Okay, regardless of how promising this company is, which I think it is, it's so difficult to justify what's still what's like their PE ratio is still at 385. In pretty much the best case scenario, you're looking 3-5 years out, maybe 2 to 3 years out. Let's just be conservative. It like no matter how much they grow within the next couple of years, that's still going to be expensive, even if in the best case scenario. Okay, 5-10 years, maybe a different story. Okay, the valuation could be much greater and could be, fairly priced at $160 billion valuation. The P is going to look a lot different in 2-3 years, but 4 or 5 years, you can justify it. You guys get what I'm saying here. I don't want to ramble on too much here. But let's read over the CNBC Pro article. Morgan Stanley turns negative on red hot Palantir, predicts 25% pullback. So before we do that, I will say that I covered this yesterday. And if you look at this trade analysis newsletter that I sent out yesterday, you can see here as I scroll down that I did call for Palantir falling as much as 7% by the end of the week. I wasn't expecting it to be this bloody, but we saw literally exactly that happen. Okay, if I go back and forth, you can see pretty much exactly what I called for just happened. So on the note of puts, on the note of these call outs, success. Congrats to you if you were trading with us. It's the first link in the description if you want to join Waves Capital. Okay, if you want to become a member of the team, if you want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis, it's $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months, completely up to you guys. You get everything that this here entails. And of course, obviously you choose whichever pricing plan you want. If you're on the fence, try it free for 7 days. I will be taking the free trial option away definitely by the end of the month. So give it a shot. I'm incredibly confident in the product I provide. This is my life. This is what I love doing. And we had an amazing 2024. 2025 is off to a hot start. Even though the markets are bloody. Again, you guys, there's always a bull market somewhere, even if those bull markets are puts. Being a trader, that's the beauty of being a trader. I invest in stocks, but trading is the name of the game for me, particularly swing trading options. And we've been on fire lately. Okay, I have no hesitation in saying that. All right, so again, we'll dive into the charts after, kind of justify or just justify those pullback targets, why I thought we were going to pull back there, but let's keep reading this. Morgan Stanley, I forgot to highlight these. Sorry about that. Just highlight as we go, I guess. Morgan Stanley anticipates a rocky road ahead for shares of Palantir after a record 2024 fueled by artificial intelligence. Analyst Sanjit Singh assumed research coverage of Palantir, of the software company with an underweight rating. Says, let's change the color on this, just make it prettier. Saying that despite its early AI strides, the risk-reward ratio looks skewed to the downside. The stock was previously not rated at Morgan Stanley. Quote, while acknowledging strong execution and momentum, we see success more than priced in at the current multiple premium, Singh wrote. So this is like, you guys, this is pretty much what this is just echoing what we've been saying for the past couple of weeks. Obviously momentum here. We caught this really early. Like we caught this well before even their earnings report, before the president, Donald Trump, was announced the next president, which really catalyzed the rally. So we caught this real early. If you catch it early, it's great. But if you're buying up here, that's where you get the red flags start flashing, and those put buy signals, at least in my eyes, were flashing. And again, those are doing us really good today. Let's keep writing here. You can see here Palantir. This is Palantir's the summary of analyst price targets. So you can see there's a total of 21 ratings on this. It is by far mostly weighted to the downside. I don't put a crazy amount of weight on this once again because they're judging it on the PE ratio relative to realistic current growth. I think that the growth is going to go ballistic in the years to come. Which is probably what this highest price target guy is factoring in as well. And a lot of these clearly overly optimistic retail investors are thinking the same. So I don't put a whole lot of weight on this, but this is just to show you guys like the median range, the average price target is potential. Okay, or is possible. Like there is potential that we fall as low as the average price target, just because big banks, big investment funds could be looking at this. They're thinking other people are going to be shooting it down to this target as well. I don't think we're falling that low, and I'll explain how far I do think we fall, where I'll buy calls again, where I really think we bottom out personally. But keep in mind, you guys, when it comes to big banks, at least the analysts at some of these big banks and funds, overall sentiment is pretty negative, and that could definitely reflect as these overly optimistic retail Joes start looking at this stuff too. They're going to get even more scared, and that creates that the exact opposite of what we saw on the way up. Okay, mania works in both directions. Along with the underweight rating, Singh placed a $60 price target on the Denver-based Palantir, implying roughly 25% downside from Friday's close. Shares briefly fell as much as 3.8% early Monday before rebounding. So that's way out of date here. This just came out yesterday. Okay, so Palantir is coming off a blockbuster year. It's important to remember, you guys, Palantir is still up 340%, and obviously a little less than that now after this pullback. But you guys, what goes up must come down to some extent. Again, I don't think Palantir is over. I think this is a great company with a bright future. A chart, or I should say a stock and its chart, are way different than a company, okay? Apple's a good example of that. Using all Apple products. I love Apple products. I've used them for the past decade, almost exclusively. I'm shorting Apple. I think Apple stock is going to have a terrible month ahead of it, okay? So again, emotion aside, it doesn't care how much I like something or how much I believe in something. As a trader, it's your job to do what makes the most sense rationally. Okay, it's your job to take the most rational road possible, and put your money where your mouth is. Once again, my money is absolutely where my mouth is. Last plug here, you guys. First link in the description of the video if you want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis. And, when we reach these pullback targets that I'm about to discuss, which call options I'm buying, and when I take profits from the puts I still have on top of the profits I took today. Again, that's the first link in the description of the video, $15 a month. It would pay itself off it would pay it for a lifetime if you're just trading with us for the past month or so, regardless of how much you started with. Okay. So that's how you guys. Palantir in the short term is looking pretty promising for the bears. Okay, so you can see here that the reason that I just referenced here, like I was expecting a pullback to here before it happened. We can see this exact thing pretty much just happened as the days unfolded. And that's because this was a line of prior resistance that was broken above and had yet to be retested as new support. Okay, so if we broke out here, pulled back to retest it, this, in my mind, would have been a lot more bullish to see instead of this rally higher, because when there's an existing trend line, when there's a very identifiable, very clear trend line, as this was, although we're on 15-minute candles, I personally put a lot more weight on longer-term trend lines using 4-hour to daily trend lines. But short-term, again, the momentum has shifted. The fundamentals supported this shift in momentum to the downside. And this, in my eyes, was a pretty clear target for profit taking, which is exactly what I did this morning. As soon as the markets, pretty much, within the first hour of trading today, we saw this trend line tested, locked in a whole bunch of put profits for my put position, and honestly reestablished a new one because I do think we fall lower. So that's how I knew that. Always remember, you guys, previous lines of support or resistance, this works both ways, that have been broken are likely to be retested if the trend line is a very apparent trend line. Okay, this one, again, multiple touch points, clear descending channel, broke out of this descending channel, did not retest it as new supports. We can see here perfectly being retested as new supports, validating this thesis. This is one of my favorite technical trading setups overall. Okay, broken resistance or broken support becoming new, whichever the opposite of it that is. Okay, so on the note of technicals, you guys, another little plug here. I just started a new series, trader tips. I've made a bunch of trader tip videos in the past, but I'm doing a little members only, like technical trader tips, covering it. Just yesterday was like absolutes, conservative trend lines, more just going into how I draw trend lines on my charts, how I identify head and shoulders patterns, just bull flags, what I just discussed about broken resistance becoming new support, etc., etc. So yeah, become a member of the channel. That's $5 a month. Just hit the join button below this video. All right. So from here, big question: where does Palantir go? And then I want to jump into the Nasdaq. Let's go to 4-hour candles here. And it's important to realize here, you guys, Palantir's had a bloody couple of days. We're falling even further as I'm recording this video, but we're still way, way, way up. Okay, so we are still way up. Like we're sitting where we're here in mid-December. Okay, it's important to realize that we just ran up way too high. And again, the higher you climb, the harder you fall, and it's always easier to fall than it is to climb. Okay, so before I get to the pullback target, my overall pullback target, I will say that for my put options, the put options that I have now, I do plan on pretty much solidifying all of the gains from those puts and closing out my put position once and if we reach the range of 66 to 67 bucks. Okay, we're seeing kind of a really janky head and shoulders pattern forming here. This is super janky, but the same psychological, the same like psychology of it still kind of applies. So you can see here we got this like head and shoulders pattern going, more like just a range followed by a big move up, followed by a symmetrical range to that initial sideways range, which again isn't a perfect head. This isn't by no means a perfect head and shoulders, but the same psychological trends still apply. Okay, or same charting trends apply. So in my mind, the resolution to that head and shoulders before we get a decent bounce, which also makes sense just because we would start to get into oversold territory as far as RSI is concerned. You can see down here we have 4-hour RSI, nowhere near oversold levels yet. Oversold is like these dash lines right here, the purple dash lines. That is 30. My fat head's covering it, but that's 30. Top is 80. We're nowhere near that on daily, so I'll just show you guys daily quick before we zoom back in here. Daily candles, I guess we don't need to even go back to 4-hour, but daily also nowhere near oversold levels, looking very bearish. Weekly also looking bearish, I'll say here. Weekly getting super macro, zooming out. Weekly RSI, super overbought for a long time. That was a great indicator that the bubble is probably going to pop soon. Ripped below it, down below its exponential moving average. 1 week stochastic RSI right here, curling downwards. The trend, again, the overall trend has clearly shifted. And I do think that, let's go back to daily one more time. I do think that ultimately we pull back to at least the $66, $67 region. But overall, I think it is likelier than not that we pull back about 12%. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Pull back once again to retest this line of broken. Let's get even more conservative right there. Absolute touch point, absolute resistance. Palantir was in this beautiful ascending channel for a very, very long time, broke out above it, have yet to retest this line of broken long-term resistance is a new support. And I do think that it is much, much likelier than not that we ultimately test this line as new supports within the not so short term. Because as I said earlier, it's way easier to fall and you can fall way, way faster than you can climb. Okay. Fear does a lot more than optimism. And the longer you guys are in this game, the more you'll learn that. So thank God we got put options. Again, if you want to trade with me on a daily basis, you want to know when I'm taking profits, you want to know when I'm buying calls, like to a T, along with all the other positions in my portfolio, because this is only a very small segment of my overall just options portfolio at the moment, which is doing well today. Thank God for those puts. And actually, shout out Philip Morris too. Safe calls, safe-ish calls. Again, first link in the description of the video to join Waves Cap for real. And I appreciate it if you join. It's so much cooler making money with people. Yeah, making money is cool. I love making money for my family. It's the game I play, but making money with people and just being able to celebrate with people is so much funner. Makes the game so much more just so much more fulfilling overall. Okay, so all that being said, let's take a look at the Nasdaq again. This will just, regardless of what you're holding calls on, Apple, Nvidia, Palantir, Tesla, when the Nasdaq 100 retests again these broken lines of resistance to new support. If you guys don't believe in stick figure trend lines, go draw these trend lines in for yourself. Watch them perfectly be tested. Okay, watch this happen. The Nasdaq has yet to retest this line of broken resistance as new supports. I think we test this within the week ahead, probably prior to the inauguration. I think we get another wave down, clear series of the lower highs and lower lows here. I think the Nasdaq pulls back. I mean, we'll definitely see some. It's almost inevitable that we see some resistance here or some support here. I'm sorry, so let's just take that into account. I think at the very least, this is conservative. I think at the very least, the Nasdaq pulls back another 2.5% to 3% in the week ahead. Okay, so if you got puts on the table, get excited because we still probably have more put profits to lock in, like we do with Waves Cap, and look forward to redeploying those put profits on call options. Doesn't have to be Palantir, any company you like. I still think that there's a bright future for certain areas of the market. There's a lot of names I'm still excited about. There will always be diamonds in the rough. And again, there's always a bull market somewhere. So let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm a fool, let me know why. If you agree, let me know why. And I just appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys riding with me. So until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.